Hey everyone, this is Light, and I'm here with an update to my tier list. And in this video, I'll be talking about the most recently released Janua, the most recent balance patch units, and the units I think deserve to be moved up or down. And if you haven't watched my first tier list video, I would highly recommend doing so because I go in detail about almost every unit, link in the description. So, for a reminder, S tier units are the most OP units, they're first pick priority, yada yada. A tier units are strong neutral picks that you can pick almost all the time, pretty much all the time alongside the S tiers. And then B tier are units that are situational, but they're really, really good in their situation. And then C tier are units that are they're uncommon and they're inconsistent. Like they might seem good in a spot, but then they end up not doing their job. So basically unreliable units that you don't see very much. Units that you expect to work but they don't, etc. And D tier units are just not good. So yeah, with that said, let's get started with the most recent addition, Janua. This unit is pretty controversial. I think people have some wild opinions about him, but to me, he is a solid B tier, which some people might think is crazy, but my reasoning is that this unit is very hard to play. I don't think you can just slam him as an early pick because he has very many glaring weaknesses. The worst thing about him is that his S2 does not proc if he's stunned or slept. So let's say Arrowwell S3s him and he's very squishy, right? Arrowwell presses her S3 on him, she stuns him, pushes him below half HP, he doesn't do anything, he wastes his passive and then he loses his turn. So there's his CR boost gone, there's his rage gone, so like he's extremely vulnerable to debuffs and I don't understand how anyone could be slamming him as an early pick. I see people picking him anywhere from 1 to 3 and it's beyond me. I think he's if anyone knows Elf Mage plays a very toxic playstyle with him. He goes like Laya and Janua and Fumir. But that kind of requires having first turn priority and knowing your opponent is slow, so I don't think that's a very viable way to play him for most people. And to me, I play all playstyles. I think he is a solid last pick. When you pick him in certain teams that have like very little control as a last pick, he's like an unstoppable monster, but otherwise I don't think he has a place as an early pick unless you somehow manage to guarantee that your first turn. I know some cleavers play him, like they just get countered by Yuffie and Landy and he procs, but I don't see it being consistent. But I think if you pick him as a last pick, then he is safe and consistent. So with that said, I'll put him in B tier. Like if you could slam him at any time, I'd put him in A tier, but no, he's definitely way too weak to debuffers, which is very ironic considering he has a self cleanse, but his self cleanse doesn't actually do that much. So yeah, solid B tier, really good as a last pick. If you pick him 1 to 3, you will get punished by debuffers, and it's not pretty. I never lose to him. I always lose with him if I pick him early. It's not pretty. So yeah, solid B tier. But B tier, in this tier list, B tier is really good. B tier is really good. Do not be fooled. So for balance patch units, let's start with LQC. Okay. Another kind of controversial opinion. I strongly believe the LQC buff did not do anything for her. Because like it does something for Guild War, but this is an RTA tier list. The thing is, before OQC's buff, basically every Abyssal Euphine is on Elbrus in RTA. So, what's the point of extinction? OQC does not change at all, because Euphines aren't on Holy Site to begin with. I think the problem with OQC is that so I tried a very high damage build OQC, right? I built like a 230 speed, 4k attack, 300 crit damage, 230 speed OQC with Tachi, and guess what? This OQC only did 16,000 damage to Abyssal Euphine through C Armin. That's not remotely enough to kill. And then he just dies. So yeah, I still don't think OQC is a good unit. It's nice for Guild War because of Holy Sack, but we're not playing Guild War, we're playing RTA. So I'm gonna say OQC is still not too good. Like sure, you can pull off some like fancy cleave with her, but it's inconsistent. It's unreliable. I don't think her place has really changed. So yeah, I'm gonna leave her in C tier, unfortunately. And the other units I got buff, top model Lilica. So I put top model Lilica in D, but I actually think she is okay in Cleave. You can use her instead of Ran. She has book. I think that's really big. She holds the book for your Ludwig, your MO Ludwig. And that's honestly that's honestly all it takes for her to be decent in Cleave. She holds the book for MO Ludwig. But she could already do that before the patch. But yeah, that's yeah, nothing really changed about her. Like sure, she does a bit more upfront damage because you can soul burn S3. But it didn't really change too much. Like I'll put her in Cleave tier, because she's worth picking for a book with Emma Ludwig, but that's about it. Not too great. And Emma Rowana is also another Cleave unit. I'm gonna put her in Cleave tier because I think she's really good with like the Ranzio shenanigans. Ranzio, Emma Ludwig, a lot of like stacking books. I think she's really good in that Cleave. She's kind of too vulnerable to be used in like aggro and stuff, but cleaving with her has felt pretty good. And I have a Cleave tier because I feel like there's no point like ranking Cleave units higher than each other, because like it's all like Cleave is as good as Cleave is. Like all these units are like, together. But yeah, Cleave is pretty good. Emorana is pretty good. Top model Lilica is okay. Like sometimes when you pick Zio, the other player will like prepare to deal with Ran, but then you can just slam another opener like top model Lilica, I guess, to pick with Ludwig. Yeah, she's okay. Emo Rwanda is pretty good. They removed Emo Rwanda's weakness of not having a strip, so that's major. That's really big. So yeah, I think she is pretty good now for Cleave. And who else got buffed? Clary. Clary is the same. I don't think her S1 change did anything. Like her S1 got changed to reduce 2 stacks of fighting spirit, but like if you S1 and A Euphine and she counters you, then she just gains back all the fighting spirit she lost. So yeah, I think the change was stupid, and she's still the same unit. Just not worth picking. So yeah, those are the balance update units. Now I have some units that I want to change from the previous tier list. First being Biblis. I think the meta is shaping out to the meta is extremely fast and extremely aggressive. So more people are picking aggressive units, and a lot of people are picking Emo Landy. So Emo Landy is an aggro unit, but Emo Landy is also like a defensive unit. So I think people are prioritizing Emo Landy a lot more. And in the way they play, I think Biblis does a lot. Because aggro Emo Landy players, they tend to skip out on their cleanse and it makes Biblis really good. And people who try to play Landy in slow play, they get really messed up by Biblis as a late pick. I think Biblis is amazing against Emo Landy as long as you pick it late. However, it's strictly against Emo Landy, not Aiden, and Emo Kender people still pick him. So yeah, Biblis. I think I have only lost with Biblis like one time, and that was because I fought a Destro Pen Warhorn Landy who did not counter. Like that's the only time Biblis is bad, or unless you're getting cleaved by Landy, like something like that. But yeah, I think like 90% of the time at least, Biblis is a strong pick into Emo Landy as long as you pick her late. So yeah, very, very good unit, but just make sure you pick her late or else she's very exploitable by like Rowana, Lone Crescent Bologna, all that, and like Emo Sermia, yada yada. Yeah, Biblis definitely up a tier. Next, I think Elvira. I think Elvira actually deserves to go up a tier. It might be crazy, but Elvira is an insane pick against Lionheart Sermia, ML Bologna, and Commander Pavel. Like she deals with these 3 units so well that she might not she might not be the best against Landy and Yuffie, but she really messes up these units at least. It's actually very common. A very common draft is people will pick up Emo Landy. Sorry, see people will pick up Elvira plus Lone Crescent Bologna against Emo Landy, and it's very hard to deal with. Mostly because if you try to pick Bologna against Emo Landy, they're gonna Elvira you, and it's gonna be an issue. So yeah, very strong unit because she messes with Bologna, Lionheart Thermia, and Commander Pavel. Very strong unit. Although difficult to play. Results may vary. Do not you kind of have to know what you're doing picking this unit. And next, I actually think Emil Ken is a very I think Emil Ken deserves to go down a tier. I feel like this unit does not really do his job. I feel like he has so much counterplay. He's weak to cleansers. He's weak to getting counterattacked. He's weak to immunity buff. He's weak to debuffers. He's just weak to so many things that it's so hard to pick him. I don't think I can justify him being in B tier. I'm sure he'll have some games where he's really good, but then you'll have some games where you're like, how did I lose this? Yeah, I don't think Elmo Ken is that great anymore. Sometimes good, other times it's like disappointing. But yeah, also a character that I have not ranked yet. I actually think Iseria is pretty good. I think a fast Iseria with the Flan artifact of Unseen Observer with Laya is super good. Like let's say you first pick Laya, you're playing standard, and the other person decides to play like Yuffie Landy or something with no injury, and then you slam Iseria Dark Corvus as your 4/5 picks. And then you have like double Dark Corvus with Laya and Dark Corvus, and Iseria resets one of them. It's kind of a force ban either way, and I think this pinch with Laya is very valuable. I pick Iseria at least like one time every like 8 hours, and I think she works really well. Very rare pick, but very good when she's actually in the game. Because there are a handful of people who will slam like Emma, Landy, and Yuffie and all that, and like they're just so weak to everything. And I think that is about it. Let me look through this again. Yeah, I am pretty happy with these placements. So yeah, if you have any questions or you wanna like dispute anything, please feel free to leave a comment. I love discussing it. And yeah, thank you for watching and see you next time.